You know, if you've bought a new house in America any time recently, there's a pretty good chance you're living inside a science experiment. Seriously, it's an experiment to see just how cheap a house can be built before before you finally notices. So in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly why so many new American homes are failing and what that really means for the people who have to live in them.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We'll start with why this whole situation is basically a house of cards. Then, we'll dive into the actual stuff these homes are made of. After that, we'll talk about where all the skilled builders went and the business model that puts profit way ahead of permanence. We'll also see how it doesn't have to be this way, and then we'll get to the real bottom line.
All right, let's just get straight to the heart of the matter. The decline in the quality of American homes, it isn't an accident. It's not because we've somehow forgotten how to build a good house. Nope, it's because the system has actively chosen not to, all through a series of very deliberate cost-cutting decisions. And this quote it nails it. Think about it for a second. That window in your bedroom that fogs up between the panes, that spot on the floor that creaks no matter how you step on it, the walls that feel so thin you could practically punch through them. Those aren't just, charming quirks. They are symptoms of a massive experiment in cost-cutting, where homeowners are the guinea pigs.
It all begins with the very stuff your house is made of. See, over the last couple of decades, there's been this quiet but really dramatic shift towards using engineered materials that trade long-term durability for the builder's upfront savings.
Let me give you a key example. The big switch from plywood to something called OSB. Right around the year 2000, OSB just took over the market. Why? Because it saved builders around $700 per house. But here's the trade-off, and it's a big one. When OSB gets wet, and believe me, construction sites are always wet, it swells up and it never fully recovers. It permanently loses its stiffness. Plywood, on the other hand, can get soaked, dry out, and return to its original shape. That small savings for the builder can become a massive, structural problem for you down the line.
And this pattern just keeps going, right down to the floor beneath your feet. A lot of new homes use these engineered I-joists instead of solid dimensional lumber. And in some ways, they're pretty clever. They're light, they use less wood, but they are hiding a critical, and I mean fatal, weakness.
And here it is. This is that weakness. A study found that floors built with these engineered I-joists can collapse in a fire in just 6 minutes. 6! Now, a traditional lumber floor, that'll hold up for about 18 minutes. For a family trying to escape or a firefighter trying to rescue them, that 12-minute difference is everything. It's life and death.
This is just a perfect metaphor. Vinyl siding is cheap, it's fast, and it covers about a quarter of all new homes. But it's just a costume. It provides zero structural benefit. It is a thin plastic layer designed to look like a solid home, while materials that actually are solid, like brick that can last for centuries, are just ignored because they take a little more time and money up front.
But look, it's not just the materials. You can have the best parts in the world, but they are absolutely useless without skilled hands to put them all together. And this brings us to the second crisis, the complete collapse of skilled construction labor in America.
When the 2008 financial crisis hit, it wiped out 2.3 million construction jobs. But the real story, the part that still hurts us today, is that 60% of those workers, the most experienced ones, the veterans, they never came back. They either retired or found more stable careers, and that created this massive skills vacuum that the industry is still reeling from.
This comparison just says it all, doesn't it? In Germany, if you want to lead a construction business, you need to be a master craftsman. That means at least 6 years of intensive, hands-on training. In the US, well, in many places, there are 0 requirements. You can literally just buy a nail gun, print some business cards, and call yourself a home builder.
And this lack of training isn't an accident, it's a systemic choice. For every single dollar the U.S. government spends on apprenticeships for skilled trades, it spends $1,000 on college prep. We've created this whole culture that values a 4-year degree over everything else. And now, the pipeline for new, skilled builders has completely run dry, right at the same time the older generation is retiring.
So we've got subpar materials and an unskilled workforce. The third piece of the puzzle, and maybe the most important, is the business model itself. The modern home building industry is designed from the ground up to maximize one thing: quarterly profits, not 100-year homes.
I mean, look at this consolidation. It's just staggering. The top 10 builders went from controlling less than 9% of the market back in the 80s to nearly half of it today. These aren't small, local builders anymore. They're huge corporations that answer to Wall Street, where the only things that matter are speed and cost per square foot. In that equation, quality and durability are always the first things to get cut.
The standard builder's warranty tells you everything you need to know. They'll cover workmanship, things like cracking drywall or shoddy trim, for just 1 year. After that, it's your problem. It's a crystal clear signal. Their responsibility for the product they just sold you ends almost as soon as your check clears.
But what about inspectors, you ask? Aren't they the final backstop for quality? In reality, that's a complete fantasy. These inspectors are so overworked, sometimes handling 25 stops a day, that the average time they spend on your new home might be just 15 minutes. The whole system is just designed to fail.
And here's some perspective for you. A thorough private inspector, one that you hire yourself, spends 2, 3, even 4 hours going through a home. So you have to ask yourself, what major life safety issues can an inspector who's racing the clock possibly be expected to catch in a fraction of that time?
Now, it's really easy to feel pessimistic after hearing all of that, but here's the part that should make you the most angry. It absolutely does not have to be this way. We only need to look at how other countries build their homes to see a clear blueprint for quality.
Take Germany, for instance. The walls aren't hollow wood frames. They're solid, load-bearing masonry that can be up to 20 inches thick. Triple-pane windows aren't a luxury upgrade. They're the standard. What you get is a quieter, more comfortable, and incredibly energy-efficient home that's built to last for generations, not just to outlast a 30-year mortgage.
Or look at Sweden. They also build with wood, but they do it with incredible precision inside of factories. The result is a home that's up to 14 times more airtight than what US code requires. That means drastically lower energy bills and way better comfort, and it proves that high-performance construction is totally achievable.
So, if building better homes is so clearly possible, why doesn't America do it? Well, the answer is that a powerful set of interests is deeply invested in keeping the cheap, low-quality status quo exactly as it is. You've really got 4 major roadblocks. First, the home builder lobby spends millions of dollars fighting against better, stricter building codes. Second, the appraisal system is blind to quality. It values a home based on the house next door, not how well it's actually built. Third, we as consumers have been taught to value granite countertops more than solid foundations. And finally, you've got a crazy patchwork of 22,000 different local codes, which pretty much guarantees a race to the bottom. And here is maybe the most frustrating number of all. The upfront cost to build a vastly superior home, one that's built to last for generations and saves you a fortune in energy bills, is only about a 5 to 15% premium. That's an investment that often pays for itself in energy savings alone over the life of the mortgage.
Which brings us to our final bottom line question. When a home is built to be affordable by cutting every corner imaginable, what is its true cost? It's not the sticker price. The true cost is the constant repairs. It's the crippling energy bills. It's the unhealthy air you and your family breathe. And it's that sinking feeling that the biggest investment of your life might not even outlast your mortgage. It really forces all of us to ask, what does value truly mean?